I didn't approach the CIA. CIA approached me to introduce Tibetan resistance, and they want to help for independence of Tibet. At that time, CIA brought my brother Nobu and with them together to India and asked me to introduce them to the Tibetan resistance. They offered us, they want to help us for independence of Tibet. Since United States directly talked to the Gompo Trashi's forces, and the Gompo Trashi's Tibetan resistance agreed with the Americans want to set up a military camp, and that since the Nepalese are already agreed, so therefore we also eventually we also agreed because the Nepalese are already agreed with the Nepalese government, and the United States government. So therefore, and for us, and we don't very much interfere, and we only supply whatever that their agreement, food and money, and the United States supplied all that money. So therefore, and we have not very much part one. So it eventually established Nepalese Tibetan guerrilla forces, but then eventually after setting up 2 or 3 years, and then the United States government again changed, stopping helping, and then Nepalese, the Muslim force have to be eventually without Tibetan agreement, it is more or less closed. Again, the United States government pressurized Nepal to close down the Muslims, Tibetan force, that situation. So all these things, you have to be very carefully writing down.
So, Kongla, do you believe that Tibetan could gain its independence in 1960s or 70s?
That's very difficult to say, because China is already occupied, and we agree much more Chinese army in Tibet. So, and also China is establishing so many Chinese military area in all over Tibet. So therefore, nobody will think before, without the Chinese in Tibet, Tibet is quite independently. But then, after the Chinese has increased so much army in Tibet, it's very difficult. Very difficult. Nobody is helping the Tibetans. Even the small setup for master is also closed. So therefore, how could you expect Tibet will establish independence of Tibet? So United States and the Indians recognize Tibet as part of China. So therefore, very difficult for the Tibetans to expand the situation. So it is very difficult for you to ask me, saying, after Tibet being recognized by the Indian government wrongly, and also in the United States also wrongly recognized Tibet as a part of China. So therefore, it is a very, very difficult situation about Tibet.
Kumla, what is your best memory when you are working with the resistance fighter in Mustang or in Camp Hill, Colorado?
Kambodja's forces established Mustang. United States almost agreed with Nepal about Mustang, and then we are supporting the what you call Kambodja's forces. So therefore, you see, we don't have we don't have very much practical operations. So therefore, since the United States wants to establish Mustang, and with the Nepalese government agreement, so then of course we have not very much influence about Mafla, and the Kambodja's forces directly dealing with the United States government. So it's a very, very complicated. So that I think it's a very important. Again, I would like to request you people writing down from the beginning. There's still many Mustang forces alive today. Maybe very old, like my age, or 70 or 80. So many of them. So you print a complete picture about the Mustang, how established, how the Nepalese agreed, how the Americans again sold them, stopped helping the what you call Mustang. So therefore, it is very important for you to set up a true, correct picture.
Kungla, do you have any message to the survived resistance fighters in Nepal, United States, and in India? Some of them are still living there.
You see, United States, Indian policies towards Tibet during the Mustang period or after closing Mustang, I think United States and Indian government in doing the wrong things. One side supporting Tibetans, another side is attacking the Tibetans, and then Indians are also, without a foundation, recognize Tibet as a part of China. United States did the same thing. So it is a very complicated situation. So therefore, I request you people to persuade elderly Tibetans, some of them are still alive, writing down a record about Mustang situation.
So, Kungla, what is your message to the younger generation of Tibet? Youth?
My very, very fearful opinion for the younger generation, very difficult. United States and India giving the Tibetans a very difficult situation. For me, as an individual, I do not have the direct power. I don't have a direct power to operate all this area. All this area is operated by the Tibetan resistance. And even then, United States operation also sometimes saying yes and sometimes no. So therefore, very difficult. But then I do, what do you call it, very much what you appreciate some of American CIA. You see, I tell you a story. During my visit in the United States, Mr. Frank Haloba, United States CIA, told me openly to ask me to seek more funds from the United States. I say I refused. I refused to see why I should ask more money like that. And then Mr. Frank Haloba is saying, you have to prepare. Maybe one day United States betray the Tibetans. So therefore, before betrayed, you should take more money from the United States. I refused. I refused to do some strange things. So therefore, it is very complicated. So therefore, writing down a correct record is very important for everybody, for the Americans, for the Indians. I think that the Tibetan situation is very, very complicated. And today is more complicated. The Chinese are teaching the Tibetans, forcing the Tibetans to learn the Chinese. So therefore, that the Tibetan students and the members of the student families is very, very complicated. So therefore, I still think it is very, very important to writing down giving a record about the Tibetan situation.